Have you ever received a message from a number you don't recognize, and it sends a chill down your spine? Maybe there's no text, just an image, a grotesque, wide-eyed woman with a disturbing, stretched face. You feel like she's staring into your soul. You delete the message, thinking it's a prank. But then it comes again, and again, and again. That's not just your imagination, that's Momo. But what if I told you that the real story behind Momo is far stranger and far more surprising than the viral panic that took over social media? Stick around, because this isn't the story you've been told. Over the years, the internet has birthed countless urban legends, creepypastas, and digital nightmares. Slenderman was one of the first viral horror myths that truly shook people to their core. A tall, faceless entity lurking in the woods, preying on the minds of those who believed in him. Slenderman was fiction, but the fear it created felt very real, so real. In fact, it tragically inspired a horrifying crime in the real world. And then came Momo. Momo didn't begin as a story. She began as an image. It started simply enough. A strange photo began circulating on WhatsApp and social media platforms around the world. The image was jarring. A woman's face, distorted and unnatural, bulging eyes, a grotesquely wide smile, stringy black hair. The kind of face that doesn't just scare you, it lingers in the back of your mind, showing up when you close your eyes. The image didn't come with an explanation, and maybe that was the most terrifying part. It came from unknown numbers attached to anonymous WhatsApp profiles. People started receiving messages. Some claimed the messages were harmless, at first just the image. But others said they received eerie texts, strange symbols, and even distorted voice messages. In some cases, the voice reportedly whispered cryptic threats or chilling phrases like, "See you soon." The internet exploded. People began sharing their encounters with the mysterious Momo. In Spain, a wave of panic hit WhatsApp users as reports flooded in about the creepy contact. Some said that just saving Momo's number would cause her to appear in your contacts even if you hadn't added her. The urban legend morphed into something even more sinister. Parents began warning their children. Schools sent out advisories. Even the police in some countries issued official warnings urging people not to interact with Momo. But here's where things get strange. The more people tried to uncover the truth about Momo, the more confusing it became. The original number was said to be registered in Japan, but soon there were dozens, hundreds of different numbers, all claiming to be Momo. Were these copycats? Trolls? Or was there something more sinister going on? A woman from Germany shared her experience online. She said that while walking home late one night from the train station, she received a message from a random number. The message didn't have any text, just that terrifying image. She thought it was a joke, deleted it, and went about her night. But then it came again and again. The same image. No name, no explanation, just the feeling of being watched. Another person left a chilling comment on a YouTube video. They said they were hanging out with friends when someone dared them to message the Momo number they found online. Laughing, they sent a simple message, "I wanna meet." An hour later, they got a dimly lit photo of Momo, standing in a bathroom, the lights barely on. The message read, "See you soon." That was the last they ever heard from the contact. The laughter stopped. What started as a joke turned into an obsession. Stories like these started to pile up, and the fear only grew. At its peak, the Momo panic spiraled into full-blown hysteria. Media outlets reported that the so-called Momo challenge was instructing children to harm themselves or commit dangerous acts. Parents were terrified. Teachers were on edge. Videos warning kids about Momo were everywhere. YouTube, Cheeky Talkie, Instagram, there was no escaping her. But here's the thing. Most of these warnings were based on rumors. In fact, investigations into the Momo challenge revealed that there was no verifiable evidence that anyone had actually been harmed because of it. There were no police reports linking Momo to real-world incidents. The fear was real, yes, but the threat wasn't. So what was really going on? To find the truth, we have to go back to where it all started. The image, the one that started it all, was not some haunted photo or cursed file. It wasn't created by a hacker or an online cult. It wasn't even meant to be scary. It was art. The face of Momo comes from a sculpture created by a Japanese artist named Keisuke Izawa. He works with a special effects company called Link Factory, and he sculpted the piece for a Tokyo gallery back in 2016. The sculpture was called Motherbird, and it was inspired by a Japanese mythological creature known as an Ubuma spirit or yokai that appears as a woman who died during childbirth. These spirits, according to folklore, are often seen carrying or searching for their lost children. They're not inherently evil. They're meant to serve as cautionary tales or moral lessons, typical of traditional Japanese ghost stories. The sculpture was meant to evoke emotion, and it succeeded, but not in the way the artist ever expected. After the exhibition ended, photos of the sculpture remained online. That's when no one knows exactly who's snatched the image and began attaching it to fake WhatsApp accounts. The viral panic had begun, and the artist, he had no idea what was happening until it was too late. Imagine that, creating a piece of artwork only to see it become the face of a global internet scare. Izawa was reportedly stunned when he found out. The sculpture was destroyed not long after, never intended to become the face of fear for millions of children. But the damage had already been done. The internet took a piece of art, stripped it of its meaning, and turned it into a digital boogeyman. But maybe what's most disturbing about the Momo phenomenon isn't the sculpture or the prank messages or the urban legends, it's what it says about us. Momo revealed something deeply unsettling about how easily fear can spread online. One image, stripped of context, fueled a global panic. People believed it because they wanted to believe it, because fear is contagious. because the line between what's real and what's fake has become more blurred than ever. And while Momo herself wasn't real, the anxiety, paranoia, and emotional distress caused by the viral hoax were very real. Young children were scared to use their phones. Parents were terrified their kids might fall victim to something they couldn't understand. And many people, especially those unfamiliar with how quickly misinformation can spread online, were caught in the middle of a whirlwind of fear. So, what can we learn from that? We learn that not everything we see online is true. We learn that images can be taken out of context. We learn that fear, especially online, is rarely rooted in fact. But perhaps most importantly, we learn that we must be critical thinkers in a digital world that thrives on emotion and shock. Momo was never a demon. Never a ghost, never a challenge. She was a sculpture twisted by the internet into something monstrous. But maybe the real monster was the internet itself. And if you've ever received a strange message, a creepy photo, or a number you didn't recognize, take a breath. Think before you react. Because sometimes the scariest things aren't supernatural. Sometimes they're just the product of our own imagination, running wild on a screen that never turns off. If you found this story eye-opening, eerie, or even a little thought-provoking, consider subscribing. We dive deep into the internet's darkest corners to bring you the truth behind the viral myths. Hit that like button, share this with a friend who's heard of Momo, and drop a comment below. Have you ever had a strange encounter online that you couldn't explain? Thanks for watching. Stay curious, stay safe, and remember, the next internet legend is just one upload away.